This interview clip with Ilhan Omar is absolutely blowing up the internet, going viral, and for good reason, because she admits, whether accidentally or intentionally, the real purpose of DEI. Watch this.
How much do you hold Trump and the rise of Trump responsible for this explosion of US Islamophobia?
Oh, I would actually come very short of holding them exclusively responsible for the rise. I think when you demonize and dehumanize, it is easy for people to commit acts of violence against those individuals, because they no longer see them as a person, as someone who has feelings, who's worthy of respect. And I think that is where we are moving away from the idea that we are supposed to be a welcoming nation.
A lot of conservatives in particular would say that the rise in Islamophobia is a result not of hate, but of fear, a legitimate fear, they say, of quote-unquote jihadist terrorism, whether it's Fort Hood or San Bernardino or the recent truck attack in New York. What do you say to them?
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. And so if fear was the driving force of policies to keep America safe, Americans safe inside of this country, we should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
We should monitor. Listen to what she says. We should monitor, surveil, and make sure that we keep accounts on the radicalization of white men. This is coming from somebody who married a white man. She says they are the greatest threat. They commit the most violence in America. I mean, that's not even like, even that is just absolutely absurd, statistically, intelligently, nationally. There's nothing true about what she just said. As a matter of fact, if you look at the real data and statistics, white on white crime, or crimes committed by white males, are far below any other, if we're going to make it about race, which we shouldn't, are far below any other race. I mean, like exponentially less than any other race. This is coming from the same representative who said that people describing the terrorists who committed the greatest violent act on American soil since Pearl Harbor did some things. That's how she described the 9/11 attack. A couple of people did some things. This is coming from the same person. Speaks in Arabic to her constituents in Minnesota. There's clip after clip after clip, where if you didn't know the location, you didn't know the region, you would think it was smack dab in the Middle East. This is the same representative who says that we should be caring about the security of America. She didn't once raise a single finger on the worst border crisis in the history of America that has caused so many atrocities we can't even measure, including the mortal harm of American citizens. I want to share with you this story right here that just came out of a home invasion in a very nice neighborhood in Los Angeles. And guess who the culprit was? You guessed it, 3 illegal immigrants who've been deported multiple times, but under Biden were let back in. Watch this.
Leaves rustling and children laughing. A typical afternoon on De La Osa Street in this quiet Woodland Hills neighborhood. And quite the contrary to the horror suffered inside this home over the weekend.
School right across the street and the kids be playing. You know, this is a good neighborhood for some stuff like this to happen in it.
Saturday morning, police say 47-year-old Alexandre Motabatsi was beaten to death during a home invasion.
He seemed like a very nice guy, always out with his dog. I have 2 dogs, and, very friendly. I think it's very sad what happened to him.
LAPD detectives say they've caught the 3 culprits, all charged with murder, after investigators say the men held the victim captive, assaulted, and killed him.
I woke up the next day and just saw yellow tape everywhere.
Living 2 doors down from the murder.
It's shocking. I'm scared to go to sleep at night, because what if it's my house?
A valid concern after similar scares just over a week ago. In Sherman Oaks, police say a family was forced to hide inside a bedroom after intruders broke in, leaving the injured mother crying on the curb with one of her kids. And Hollywood, police say men barged in and maced a person who was in the mansion before taking off with jewelry. Investigators have not yet said if they believe any of these recent home invasions are connected to this latest strike in Woodland Hills.
Wherever, I just pray for the victim's family and they seek justice for what happened.
Before Bukele gets to that point where he's dealing with another leader, we should consider worst case scenarios. And I do think it's a reasonable theory that Donald Trump is not unlike the spouse of someone who leaves him perhaps for another, who then murders their former partner because if they can't have her, nobody can. And I think Donald Trump in his solipsism may have that relationship with the world, and that this destruction is in part a power play and also a literal intention of his final out.
You think he'll try to stay on?
I think he might try to destroy the world before he ages out of life.
If you couldn't hear that Holly weirdo Sean Penn, he says that he's going to try. This is what they're characterizing our guy Trump as. The guy who has written and signed historic executive orders, the guy who closed the border in less than 100 days, where the last vegetable in chief said, I need a bill. And we have the worst border crisis in the history of America that has caused similar crimes to what happened in Woodland Hills that CNI depicted and shared with you earlier, all over America, and even worse. Jocelyn Nungare, Laken Riley, Patty Marin's daughter, Rachel Marin, come to mind. Just a few. But Trump wants to destroy the world. He says Trump is going to destroy the world before he ages out of life. These are the sick people that we're up against, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I got a comment very recently from somebody saying, you know, hey, Nez, we don't want to watch this stuff. Why do you keep sharing? He's like, it was actually a nice comment. He's like, man, I love your videos, but we don't want to watch this stuff when I show stuff like this and the hypocrites and the hypocrisy and these demonites time and time again. We don't want to watch this stuff. Our peace of mind is worth more than watching this. And by the way, I totally get that. And I totally respect that. You think I want to watch this stuff? You think I, as a proud American, born and raising my family, you think I want to see these people having influence, wielding their influence, even after they lost in a resounding mandate? I don't want to see any of this more than you do. But my fellow Americans, my fellow global citizens, this isn't just an American problem. We are at war here. I'm not being hyperbolic. We are at war. And the proof is in the pudding. When you've got people keying Teslas, blowing up American businesses, protesting in the streets, yelling, kill Whitey, yelling, take to the streets. These are leaders, by the way, saying F you to simple questions, attacking reporters, not standing on a single policy. When you've got these people not only in power, but in influence in places like Holly Weirdo, billionaires like Soros and Clooney and the entire cabal, Bill Gates, etc., Oprah Winfrey, we have to expose these people. We still have a portion of our society, a very large portion of society, that still thinks Kamala would have made the better president. I mean, can you believe this nutso crazy psychotic stuff? I don't want to see this stuff either. But these are the most important videos. I love sharing our victories, our triumphs, Trump rallies, love them to death. These are the important videos. These are the videos you need to share. These are the videos you need to tap the thumbs up. We need to combat these. There's nobody else. They own the corporate airwaves. Soros just bought over 200 independent radio stations, and somehow the FCC turned a blind eye. We are at war, ladies and gentlemen. This is really, really important. These guys have no vision. They have no strategy. They have no policy. They have no direction, zero idea of where to go forward. They are just all consumed with hatred of one man. And that's all they're doing. All the threat to democracy, fascist, garbage, it didn't work. Not only did it not work, it did the exact opposite, smearing him, discrediting him, arresting him, trying to imprison him, trying to assassinate him. It didn't work, but they're tripling down on it. It's insane. And people are still, and actually they have some constituents, radical though they might be, that are like, no, you need to fight harder against Trump. But what about your groceries? What about your mortgage? What about your safety and your security? No, we don't care. You have brainwashed us so much to hate this guy. We want you to hate more. These are people that are your neighbors. These are the people that your kids go to school with. These are the people who handle your money, who handle your food. These are the people who handle very important facets and aspects of your life. I don't say this lightly. I don't say this hyperbolically. I'm not saying this dramatically. We are at war. Watch this clip right here of Pencil Dick Schiff. You know what? I'm not going to share it because he's just gross. I'm just going to tell you. Schiff is now filing federal legislation to ban assault weapons nationwide. This is another step in a beginning way of taking away our Second Amendment rights. And then you've got Chuck Schumer. I'm not going to play the clip, don't worry. Announces that the SAVE Act, which the only thing the SAVE Act requires is just proof of citizenship to register to vote nationwide. He wants to make sure it doesn't go to President Trump's desk. It needs 60 votes. Schumer turned around, looked at Republicans, gloated, and said that the SAVE Act, get this, we're at war, folks. He says the SAVE Act will restore Jim Crow. What? Let me be clear, he says. I will not let the SAVE Act become law. Every Senate Democrat, every single one of us is united against it. They need 60 votes. The SAVE Act is DOA, dead on arrival. Kamala Harris didn't win a single state that required voter ID. Kamala Harris didn't flip a single county that required voter ID. Let me repeat that. She didn't win every state that she won, including my home state, California, did not require voter ID proof. So what Tom Homan said in that press conference a week ago, he said, nobody will say it, but I'll say it. The reason our border was the worst crisis in American history prior to President Trump is because the Democrats wanted to secure and rig elections, period. We're at war, folks, and it's far from over. We got the greatest fighter ever in the executive office. We love him to death. We got an amazing cabinet of high quality, high caliber all-stars, world-class performers, but we're still at war because the corporate media is run by these absolute demonic anti-Americans, period. And so we can't stop. I can't stop. And I implore you not to stop. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I really sincerely, genuinely want to hear from you. You saw that I responded to a comment, and this was not a member. This was not somebody who paid a super chat. Every comment, I really try my hardest. I can't get to them all. It's physically impossible, but I really, really try, especially the thoughtful, considerate, respectful. Look, personal ad hominem attacks, they go straight to spam. Don't even bother. Links, don't share links. The comments section is meant for collaboration, debate, thought. That's what's going to heal our country. So I listen to you. I read them. Leave me something constructive. Even if you disagree with me, that's totally fine. Leave me something constructive. Leave me something thoughtful. And I promise you, it's going to get a better shot than 90% of the other comments that don't do that. So I can't wait to hear from you. Tap that thumbs up. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right there to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.